All right, so we're back with another deep dive. And this time, we're taking a look at the Las Vegas Raiders. They had that huge upset against the Ravens, which honestly nobody saw coming.
Nobody.
And then they just got completely crushed by the Carolina Panthers. I mean, that was not what anybody expected.
Not at all. I mean, the Panthers were not expected to be a challenge for them this season.
And what has everybody talking here, even more than that loss, is how Coach Antonio Pierce reacted afterward. He basically threw the players under the bus, said some of them were making business decisions out there on the field. So we're using this AP News article to really dig into what that comment means and what it tells us about the Raiders right now.
You know, it is interesting that he would make those comments publicly. It's not really typical, especially from a coach like Coach Pierce. He doesn't have a reputation for being, a controversial kind of coach, you know?
Exactly. He became head coach like halfway through last season.
Yeah.
And it seemed like everyone was totally on board with him. So the fact that he's questioning their commitment now, and so publicly, it makes you think something's up.
Definitely. I mean, usually coaches would, try to deal with issues like that internally. Talk to the players directly. Putting this out there in the media, risky move. It could mean there's a real lack of trust there.
Right.
And that's only going to cause more problems in the locker room.
Yeah.
You don't want that.
And he's not backing down from those comments either,
Mm-hmm.
And that AP article, it says he's sticking with the whole business decisions thing. But here's the thing. He also said that their Thursday practice, like right before that Panthers game, he said it was their best practice of the whole season. So how do you go from the best practice to a game that bad?
Well, that's the thing about practice versus game day, right?
Yeah.
You can have a practice where everything's perfect, everyone's on fire, but then you add in the pressure of a real game. The other team's actually trying to win. A little bit of luck comes into play. Suddenly that amazing practice doesn't mean as much.
Yeah, that's so true. And I think everyone's experienced that at some point, not even in sports. Like, you nail a presentation in rehearsal.
Yeah.
Then you get in front of the real audience and totally freeze up.
Yeah.
That pressure can just change everything.
Exactly. And in the NFL, that pressure is huge.
Yeah.
I mean, millions of people watching. Your career is on the line. You have to perform at this incredible level week after week. So yeah, those practice wins don't always mean a win on game day.
Speaking of, the Raiders are facing the Browns this week. Both teams are 1-2 right now. So this game is pretty crucial for both of them if they want to even think about the playoffs.
Absolutely. This is where it gets real. If you look at the numbers, teams that start 1-3, they almost never make the playoffs.
Wow.
The margin for error in the NFL is so small, You dig yourself into a hole early on, it's really hard to get out.
So are Coach Pierce's comments, do you think it's like a strategy? Is he trying to light a fire under his team?
Maybe.
What, could it backfire?
It could. It definitely could.
I mean, he needs those players to turn things around.
He does.
So if he alienates them,
Yeah.
that's not good.
Not good at all.
This is a fascinating situation.
It is.
It goes beyond just football,
It really does.
It makes you think about leadership.
Right.
How do you motivate a team that seems lost? And when does being critical, even if you have good intentions, when does it do more harm than good?
Big questions.
Yeah, big questions for sure. And we see this all the time, don't we?
We do.
Not just in sports, but everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
How do you get a team back on track when they've lost their way? Is there ever a point when, tough love just stops working?
Yeah, it's a tough one.
It is.
And if you look at that AP article again, you can see how the players are reacting to all of this,
Oh, right.
Like Devontae Adams, he said he's, quote, curious to see how we respond. Doesn't exactly sound like a vote of confidence, does it?
Not really, no.
Seems like he's kind of waiting to see if this whole, tough love approach, if it's actually going to work.
Right. And it's not just him either.
No.
Zamir White, he kind of hinted that post-game meeting. It wasn't just about the players. It was about everybody.
Interesting.
Like, maybe the coaches need to take some responsibility too,
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, football is a team sport, right?
The ultimate team sport.
It is. You need coaches who support their players.
Absolutely.
Who trust the coaches.
And that trust, it comes from both sides.
Right.
You need that clear communication, respect, on and off the field.
So was Coach Pierce right to call out his players like that? Was it a smart move, a desperate move, or what?
I don't know. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see what happens. Will the Raiders step up, prove him right?
Yeah.
Or is this just going to make things worse?
So much riding on this.
There is.
And it's bigger than just football. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
Like we were saying before, it makes you think about leadership, teamwork, accountability.
For sure.
Those things matter everywhere, not just in sports.
It's true, yeah.
How we react to challenges, how we hold each other accountable.
Yeah.
It all matters.
It all makes a difference.
Well said.
Whoa.
All right, that's it for this deep dive. As always, thanks for listening.
Thanks, everyone.